So I want to start working on the other layer of dust now. So let's go back to simple lighting mode and limit the resolution on the lighting here. Okay, and let's go. So we're going to be emitting from here now. We can pretty much just copy. We'll get rid of this merge. Pretty much just copy all of this, drag it over. It's not going to be identical, but we can recycle a lot of what we've got already. Let's go back to the first frame. Okay. So we're going to be working on just the road again. Okay, so at name is road and set that to points and delete non-selected. That will isolate our road. Another thing, I'm going to drop another delete. So there are different ways of adding kind of noise, right? So this is going to be adding noise to the particles, to the points that we create here. But another thing we can do is just delete geometry randomly. Okay, that we're emitting from, deleting the primitives, or in this case pieces. And if we drop a delete and go to delete by range, you can see what that's doing already. Set this primitives or points. I don't think it matters now. And you know, you have, so here I'm basically deleting 50%. If I want more, I'll do something like that. Okay, that will delete more, and that will give me the opposite, but I want it like that. Okay. What I also want to do, if I drop a wrangle, is obviously we don't want to emit from everywhere at the same time. I just want to emit from the pieces that are falling. Okay, so they will have a different velocity, right? So we're going to be culling based on the velocity, right? So float speed is the length of b. I think we did this with the particles earlier on. It's the same thing. So if the speed is less than channel float, we'll call it speed cull. Speed cull. Oh, we need importance of quotation marks, as this is the name, kind of like a label. All right, and then curly brackets, as this is a condition. Remove, or we should move that in actually. Remove point. And then in the first input, at ptnum, that should be everything that we need. Okay, and then let's make that value and skip forward a bit and then start to bring this up. There we go. So you can see where the points on the inside are moving a bit faster. So if we move that up, I just want the pieces falling, going down there. So let's do 0.6, something like that. Okay. That looks okay. Fantastic. Right. So, yeah, we can drop that in there. We're going to be obviously not keeping, in the previous one we were just keeping the points that we generated with our debris, but you know, we don't have a lot of points here, so we need to do a volume scatter. Okay, so that will scatter some points. I want some more points than that, so we can just do that in the particle separation here. It's just the space between each of the points. Okay. The more that we have here, the more we have to work with going into the simulation, right? This is not necessarily the resolution of the simulation. You know, that depends on the rasterize here and, well, you know, what's going into our pyrosolver as well. But you know, this just gives us more to work with in terms of the noise and things. So speaking of the noise, one thing I want to look at is, so these pieces are falling through. Okay, they're moving. This will have happened in the previous one as well, but these pieces are moving through. If we turn off the animation, right, and play this through, you can see the noise is still changing. That's because the pieces are going through that kind of field of noise, if you will. You know, that's kind of a way to think about it. They're traveling through that, and that's because it's based on the position of the points, right? So what we need to do is generate a rest position so that this noise will only be animated based on the animation that we put here. It's probably not going to have a massive effect, but it's a good thing to know because it can be annoying, you know, in other cases. If you know, especially if you don't want it, if you definitely don't want it to be animated. Okay, so the way to do that, we're going to be taking the rest position from here. Okay, so if we drop a rest, that will generate that rest attribute, which is here, you can see, but that's matching my current position, and you can see that changes with the animation. So what we do, if we see that, we can see rest position, oh, it just says input 2, but if you drop a time shift, delete the channel so it's only on the first frame, connect that up, and now my rest shouldn't change. So minus 2.3 there, move forward, doesn't change. Okay, so the rest is just the position on the first frame, essentially. Now I'm going to lose this at this point. Okay, we're generating points on each frame here, and we don't have that rest position, so we got to copy it over. So we use an trusty attribute transfer. Okay, and here, connect that up there, right? And we want the velocity for sure. Okay, we want to keep that, not primitives, and we want that rest position, and we can leave this at defaults, I think, there. Okay, now if we move this, I'll keep it like that. Now if we take a look at that noise, and I don't have any animation, you can see, oh, and we need to change this to rest, to use that rest position as well. Okay, now it should pretty much be static. There we go. So you can see there that noise is not moving. Okay, it's just based on that initial frame. Okay, and it will only be animated if I turn that on and it starts to go with that. Okay, great.